After the great race at Martinsville, we are going off to Texas Motor Speedway. This is the race preview for that Texas race. We're going to talk about the weather, the conditions, some different things that are going on the race weekend that you should probably know about, and also the repercussions coming out of Martinsville and how we're going to line up for Texas. So before the video, just go ahead and comment down below what you think the Texas race will be, or you can wait till after the video, and make sure you subscribe to the channel if you are new. Thank you very much. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram if you're not already as well. Link is in the description below. So it's always important in the NASCAR season when you go to a track you've been to before to look back at what that track did earlier on in the season. Unfortunately, the Texas race early on in the season is pretty forgettable, as most races are, because of this playoff format. So anything from March through June is just really, really forgettable. So if one of you guys can remember the Texas race, then bravo to you. Or if you're a Kyle Busch fan, you probably remember it because Kyle Busch did win that race. But that race was mostly dominated by Kyle Busch and Kevin Harvick leading the most laps and winning both stage 1 and stage 2 between the two of them. And with the racetrack, I am not a fan of Texas at all. I thought Texas was a decent mile and a half when it was kind of like the cookie cutter shape, and it had an older surface, but because of the repave, and you know, you have to repave a track eventually, they did that. But what they did with Texas is, and you guys know this, in turns 1 and 2, they made it wider, they made it a little bit less banking. It was really weird what they did, and in my opinion, they created probably the worst corner in NASCAR right now. I mean, turns 1 and 2 is awful. I mean, it is absolutely terrible. When you drive into that corner, you have to get the car on the bottom, and if not, it's just you slide up. There's no even chance to race. It's really frustrating at those speeds. I've been very, very vocal about that, and I just think the construction of that track as it is now is pathetic in that corner. Now, 3 and 4 was not changed that much. 3 and 4 is still the typical Texas, and the cars go very fast through there because of the package, but 1 and 2 is always the trouble spot, and if you slide up, you kind of just lose spots and you get trapped. If not, then you just kind of run in a line and there's just no real racing going on through there. Hopefully, as the repave wears down, then maybe they can start racing, but I will never think that they will get to the top lane like they used to be in 1 and 2, get all the way by that wall, because you lose so much time being up there. And in recent races, there has been no proof or evidence that anyone can run up the track in turns 1 and 2. So yeah, as you can tell, I'm not very happy with the track. But it is in the round of 8, and it's going to be a very important race. So let's pull up the playoff standings. Joey Logano's locked in from his win at Martinsville, but we'll probably pay the consequences for that later on. It was a good move. It was the move to win the race, but unfortunately, he did it against one of the favorites in Martin Truex Jr., and Martin Truex Jr. was not pleased about it at all. And just on a case-by-case scenario, you guys left your opinions in the comments, and I kind of got an idea of what everyone felt. Most people, in my opinion, thought it was a good move, a bump and run. You know, that's what I think as well. But a lot of you actually understood as well that the circumstances are different. The fact that we're in the playoffs, the fact that there's more on the line, and that Truex did race Logano very clean. There's a lot of that goes into it, and a lot of you seem to agree that Logano had to do it. It was the right move, but he might have to pay the consequences. But for now, for the next 2 weeks, he is in the free. He's locked in. He can have fun. He could go out and try to win the races, and that team will focus on Homestead. Kyle Busch is 46 points above, and he's coming to a racetrack where he is really good at, and I am expecting him to do very well, and I think he will also be in the round of 4 when it comes to Homestead. Martin Truex Jr. is coming off a very frustrating race, but he still did finish in 3rd place. So I don't think he should be very upset. He's 25 points above the line. He was 23 points above heading into Martinsville. So he gained 2 points on that cutoff line, even with Logano coming up into the top 4. And Kevin Harvick is on the bubble, but he is 25 points above. Another driver that did well in the first Texas race. And now we go to the bottom 4 of Kurt Busch, Chase Elliott, Clint Bowyer, and Eric Almirola. In the first Texas race, Kurt Busch did lead a few laps, but he did not. He finished in the top 10, but he never had the speed to compete with Harvick or with Kyle Busch. So I don't know if he can pull out that speed this weekend. He hasn't seemed like pretty much all year to have the fastest car, but he's probably going to have to win to get himself in. Chase Elliott, you can never count him out because that team has won 3 races this season, 3 in the last 12 races as well. They've won on a road course. They've won at a 1 mile Dover, and they've won at the 1.5 miles at Kansas. This 1.5 miles is very different, though. I don't know if Chase Elliott's best chance comes at Texas, but if they bring a good race car, then you will never know, and we'll see how they do. But very similar scenario, unless Harvick or Truex or Busch have a drastic mechanical failure early on in the race. I do not think those guys are going to be able to catch them in points, so must-win scenario. Clint Bowyer, his real shot, to be honest, was probably at Martinsville. I don't see him winning at Texas. Maybe does have a chance at Phoenix, but Texas, I think he will have a decent car, top 10, but not enough to win. But he might have to give the best shot he can. And Eric Almirola, you never know. He is actually my pick in that bottom 4 to be the fastest and to maybe have a chance to win. So that should be very interesting to see if he can do that. And maybe we could see him get into the top 4, but you never know. And it is very important to know if any of those bottom 4 drivers make it into the top 4, then one of the big 3 are out of the round of 4, which is going to be very weird. But that's how the playoff format is. Not too much drama going around in terms of the point standings. Everyone knows what they have to do. There's not really any points racing here, to be fair. It's just you got to win the race. So, man, I'm trying really hard to not hate this format. I'm biting my tongue a lot. Now let's talk about the weather. The weather is actually going to be a big part here at Texas. On Sunday, it's a 50% chance of rain. On Monday as well, 50% chance of rain. But I think at night on Sunday, it should diminish in terms of the rain chances. So it is a possibility that rain will be in the area on Sunday during the start of the race or even in the middle of the race. This could turn into a night race just because of the weather. So that is going to be very interesting to see. It might not rain at all, though. So you never know, but it is a 50-50 according to the weather forecast right now. And if it is a night race, it's going to be a track position fiesta because the night race at Texas, more grip in the track, and you will not be able to pass with the dirty air going along in 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. So that's going to be very interesting to see what happens there. But hopefully it doesn't rain. Hopefully it is a day race just to entice a little bit of maybe a hotter track. Maybe the track can just wear a little bit. Goodyear is also bringing a new tire, a right side tire. It was the tire that was raced at Michigan for the Xfinity and the Cup Series. They're bringing that same tire for the Xfinity and Cup Series here at Texas. Apparently it wears a little bit more, but for me the Michigan race is pretty forgettable, so I don't remember how that race went. Don't really blame Michigan, repaved track, and a part of the season that just isn't important. But it is what it is, and we'll see if we can get more tire wear here at Texas, but I don't know if that will do much to improve the racing. We're going to see. And now picks for the race. It's going to be very important to qualify here at Texas. I think actually it might be harder to make your way up towards the front of Texas than it is at Martinsville, which is weird to say, but just because of the dirty air and how it works, and the 1-lane groove in 1 and 2, then you want to qualify well, and you also want to get those stage points just in case. So qualifying is going to be very important for especially Kyle Busch, Martin Truex Jr., and Kevin Harvick. Just don't give anyone in the bottom 4 the opportunity to gain 10 free points on you in the first stage. Very, very important there. And for the guys below, they just need to qualify well to get those stage points and put themselves in position to win the race. My pick to win the race is I think I said it last week. I said my pick for Texas is Kyle Busch, and my pick for Phoenix is Kevin Harvick. Those two guys were the fastest cars here in the spring, and I believe they will be the fastest cars again here at Texas. There's no reason for me not to believe it. They've been fast at a lot of mile and a halves. And I think Kyle Busch will win at Texas Motor Speedway, and Kevin Harvick could have easily won at Kansas if it wasn't for that incident. And those two looked like they had the fastest cars, but Chase Elliott ended up winning the race. So it's going to be very interesting, but I'm not picking any underdogs here. I think Kyle Busch will win the race. So comment down below who you think is going to win the race. I probably know Kyle Busch is not a popular pick, but just, thinking about it, pretty sure it's going to be Kyle Busch. That's the race preview for Texas. Like I said, this is not one of my favorite races. I'm not expecting that great of a race, and that's unfortunate. I just will never understand what they did to the racetrack. I don't get it, especially 1 and 2. I will never understand it. It just doesn't make sense to me in terms of racing, how they thought that would work. But it is what it is. Like I've said, I despise this track. Comment down below how you think of this track. Like, do you like this track as a mile and a half because it's different? It's not a cookie cutter anymore, to be honest. 1 and 2 is something I've never seen before. But do you like it? And that's something that I want you guys to comment down below. Everyone wants more short tracks, but as a mile and a half, because we will have mile and a halves in NASCAR, do you like this version of a mile and a half? My stance, I hate it. but we'll see. If you like the video, make sure you hit that like button. If you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe. Comment down below again everything I said. Who's gonna win the race? What do you think about the point standings? What do you think about the new right side tire? That might play a little bit of a difference here. I think the guys who were in the tire test, two of the main guys there were Joey Logano and Martin Truex Jr. So they might have a little bit of an upper hand on everyone else. So we'll see if they actually become the fastest. What if Joey Logano ends up dominating Texas? He did it at Martinsville. He could go on a little bit of a hot streak and dominate Texas. You never know. But my pick is Kyle Busch, so that's what I'm going with. What are you guys going with? I'll see you guys later. Hope you are having a fantastic day. Hopefully it doesn't rain on Sunday, because a night race, even though I love night races, at 1.5 miles, I don't think is going to be the best idea, especially when it's newly repaved. So hopefully that doesn't happen. See you guys later. Peace out.
Even if I tried, even if I wanted to, and I can't change. Even if I tried, my love, she keeps me warm.